Right. Rana Ihsan, because it is coming from Prime Minister and you hail from the same party, why is this conflict apparently among what the other federal minister is saying and what the Prime Minister is saying? And on top of it, have you been talking to your coalition partners when it comes to offering any kind of reconciliation towards PTI?
Our coalition partners, Bilawal Bhutto, has spoken of reconciliation on the floor of the parliament. And it doesn't matter what the federal minister says or says, or how many federal ministers say what when the prime minister is saying something, because obviously prime minister is the head of the cabinet, and if he plans to do something, then everything falls in line. So this came after an emotional speech of Ali Mohammed, that the Prime Minister decided to stand up and give an open-ended invitation of talks with the opposition for the sake of the country and for the sake that we take the economy out of this quagmire. And he even offered that if Khan Saab is facing any problems, we should work together. But you know, the common denominator is that when we were in opposition in 2018, and we used to think that this is a stolen mandate in a selected prime minister. Even then, it was Shehbaz Sharif who was talking about a charter of economy, and who was sitting with the government on issues like Corona and the national security. And the missing part was then the prime minister, who did not feel the need to sit with the opposition. Right. And today, if they have the same concerns regarding the election or whatever, but it is still the Prime Minister right now, Shehbaz Sharif, and the same person who is offering to sit down and move forward. And it is again the common denominator, PTI, or the Sunni Ittihad Council, which is not interested in talking with their colleagues, the political, the parties. Rather, it shows that they are not interested in talks, and they would want to continue this politics of polarization, and they would want to continue this blame game and not sit together for the sake of the country.
Right. Rana Ihsan, while there are still talks going on with IMF, and we have just witnessed a very inflationary budget. I mean, your priorities are very clear here when you have just passed in National Assembly rupees 8.78 trillion for 121 demands for grants relating to various ministries, divisions and departments. By the way, this was opposed by the opposition, but yet it was passed with a 118 to 49 vote. I mean, these are the things where we were expecting that there is going to be a slimmer government looking at the situation of the economy. So what should we expect? That the elites, the kleptocracy, everything that is to be found in the Weimar of elite capture is going to continue while people continue to pay the taxes more and more?
No, I think that is not correct. We have tried that, when you talk about exporters, they were in a regime in which their income tax was quite lower than that of the salaried class. And now we have ensured that they are going to be taxed in a similar manner as the salaried and the normal income tax regime. So that is one big step towards equitable taxation. Obviously, we need to understand that there was not a lot of space to give relief, and still we are borrowing a lot of money, and I don't consider it an inflationary budget, because this budget was a prerequisite for the IMF program. And the fact that we are going in an IMF program is going
but
to
the kind of reforms and restructuring that the IMF have been asking,
let me complete
nothing of that has happened.
No, I have to complete the point. So when we are going in the IMF program, it will bring external stability, which will give you an exchange rate, which will strengthen the rupee. And when the rupee is strengthened, it will control inflation. In the previous years, when you were at 38% inflation, the number one reason was devaluation. And if we can control our external side and not let the rupee devalue extraordinarily, that alone will be a big measure to control inflation. Yes, we have had to tax the sectors which were already in the portfolio, But that is also due to the fact that, apart from the budget, we are taking a massive FBR reform. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is financing the McKinsey consultants which are going for digitalization. And even though I admit that it's only a 200 billion ticket in the budget, but it's going to be much larger in practicality when you see us implementing digitalization. The reason why it is only 200 billion is because the IMF would not allow us to show more on tax evasion and increasing the tax base. But that is going to be the major reform, a structural reform in the revenue measures. And on the expenditure side, this is also beyond the budget, that within the next 2 months, there will be a solid program implementable within this year to downsize the government, which we will implement. So apart from this budget, you will see serious measures on increasing revenues, decreasing the expenditure. And when you talk about the PSDP, we have focused on water reservoirs, we have focused on dams, we have focused on IT, we have focused on the power sector. So I think in the given circumstances, this was a very a budget which would really give us the economic drivers and stabilization of the fiscal and macroeconomic side of the economy.
All right.